that was our first pillar, empowering the front lines, because we are really looking at it systemically. And you have 4 or so systems right there that touch children every day. But the second pillar is a system that touches families, touches hundreds of thousands of millions of individuals. And it's the faith communities. Awakening the faith communities is our second pillar, because what I can tell you is after the 5,000 girls that I worked with over that decade, almost half of them, their stories involved church. Either it was at the hands of a youth pastor or somebody that should have been protecting them on staff at the church, or like Vanessa shared last night with her family, rapes that happened at home, abuse that happened at home, but we looked perfect every Sunday when we showed up. I was abused at the hand of my favorite family uncle, who was a worship leader. It's an attempt to ruin everything. And this is one system. Whatever your faith, if you believe there is a God, this should be the system that could change everything. This should be the system with power to eradicate. But what we know is that the stats inside the walls are exactly as the stats outside the walls. It's no different than saying, yeah, I sit in a garage. Doesn't make you a car, right? Just because you sit in a place of worship, it doesn't mean anything different. The statistics are the same. 8 out of 10 men are addicted to pornography, and what we've learned over the last decade is that is a fast track to buying. No one sets out to be a buyer. Children are keeping the secrets in the church, but the adults that are hiding their addiction or their abuse because they haven't dealt with it, and we certainly don't talk about that at church, aren't able to be protectors of the next generation. The average age, you've heard, is 3, 4, 5 years old when we begin keeping a secret. The average age of speaking about abuse that happened is 53 years old. Those decades, we can't advocate for children because we're locked up in our own shame and our own secrets, and if we don't get free, we're not going to change anything. We have ended up in a world that only 4% of our children even stay in our faith communities. 4% in the whole realm. I have gotten calls from heads of synagogues telling me, Elizabeth, our leader of men was just in a trafficking sting. What do? I go, please don't shove it under the rug. Please talk about it. Let's roll out real talk. Let's go. They're like, I don't know. Nobody wants to damage their brand, but yet headlines and scandals and fallen leaders, callings being stolen. We want to off-ramp it all. We want to give every child, because often a young kid will be taken, a youth leader will take them under their wing and just run them along and up with them. Before you know it, they're the next youth leader, but no one's cleared out what was under the hood. We're here to clear out what's under the hood. We're here to normalize the conversation. As Vanessa said last night, as we've been rolling it out in K through 12 faith communities, these kids are starving. They're inviting their friends. They're like, we could talk, and they're going to talk about it and tell us. When one group of boys was told that actually sex is supposed to be awesome and it's not supposed to be like that at all, and they were able to share the things that they were doing, learning, hiding, they were like, minds blown. We have a pathway. It's a systemic tool that changes everything in a faith community. Kindergarten through leadership. We start with the leadership giving them places to actually heal. Every leader says, our team's great, they're perfect. Give them 5 minutes with our team, and they're like, oh, they're all crying. What's going on? But we're just not used to talking about our stuff. And if we don't talk about our stuff, and I'm talking about the next level stuff, because there's some stuff we're all comfortable talking about, but it's this stuff that if we don't speak to it, I'm a clinical therapist, we can call it generational patterns, or if you're of a faith community, you call it sins of the father to the 3rd or 4th generation. And we want to end all of this generational patterns. So this is a tool that is being launched worldwide. You're going to hear a lot more about it, but I am so honored to introduce one of our very first churches that said yes, Pastor Danny. He is from Arizona, and he is with Blue Ridge Community Church, and I was invited to speak there for human trafficking, and we were just launching Real Talk, and I walked up to him and I said, I think you might be interested in this. He actually was, and he's going to share a little bit more about why. This is an amazing man, and his wife is here with him, and I'm so honored to introduce you guys to Pastor Danny from Happy Jack, Arizona.